All right. Hello, everyone. I am here today with Ashley, who is gracious enough to share her amazing story of recovery with us. I have been so excited for the changes that Ashley has seen and the really hard work that she has done in reclaiming her health. And so she's agreed to share her story with us today. Thank you so much, Ashley.
Yeah, no problem. I'm excited to be here.
Great. So I would love if you could just start by letting people get to know you a little bit more, just in terms of what life was like for you before you got sick, if you had health issues for a long time, or if you were pretty healthy. Like, what did life look like for you leading up to this event?
Yeah, I mean, I was a typical young adult. I am a mom of two kids, so I was just living life. I had just finished college and I was working nights as a nurse, with a new baby at home, but I thought I was pretty healthy.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
It's
yeah.
amazing sometimes how things can really hit us out of the blue, right? So for some people, like they're living a pretty normal life, at least they feel that way.
Yeah.
And then something really, really hits them. But it does sound like, you were dealing with a lot of stress in your life. Like you had
Yeah.
a new
So,
baby, you're a
and I
mom
think I've
working nights.
always, yeah, I've always dealt with like some anxiety and depression, like normal mental health issues.
Yeah.
And then I think I was also dealing with hormonal changes because I had just had a baby. So,
Hmm.
but I was just, I just kept on trucking.
Right. No, like you said, I mean, we call them like normal mental health issues, right? Because they are
Yeah.
so normalized. Yeah, but some anxiety, some depression, struggling with balancing the hormones after having your kids, but otherwise, living a pretty normal life. Will you share a little bit about like what your main triggering event was? Like what happened that really crashed your health?
Yeah. So, I had been working nights, so I was already pretty stressed. I had got on hormonal birth control in September of 2021 because I was having ruptured ovarian cyst. Like every month, my cycle would come, and then when I would ovulate, I would get a ruptured cyst. I went to the ER the first few times, but after that, I was kind of just taking care of myself at home with them. And
Yeah.
then they would just up my birth control, but it was not working.
Yeah.
And then in August of 2021, I decided to get the COVID vaccination.
Hmm.
And not even like a week or two after, I started getting aches all over my body, um, especially in my legs. Um, it was like almost you felt it to the bone. And then I was getting extreme panic attacks, which I always had anxiety, but I'd never had panic attacks like all day, every day.
Yeah.
Um, so I finally went to a doctor and I kind of told her, I was like, I'm having this pain like spread all through my body and it's like really deep. And she basically said, pain doesn't move that way. I don't understand why you'd be feeling this all over your body. So she told me you're young and, just sent me home. And I
Mm.
remember like going home feeling so defeated because I felt like something was wrong. I ended up quitting my job to be a stay-at-home mom because I thought maybe it's the stress from like
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
Well, then the pain in my legs got so bad that someone mentioned, like, maybe you need to go get that checked. It might be a blood clot because I was on birth control and I did get the vaccine.
Yeah.
So I went to the ER and no blood clot, but I was sent to a vein specialist because I was showing the beginning signs of venous insufficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to the vein clinic and they basically told me it was the birth control. So I stopped the birth control completely, all by myself, which probably should have weaned off of it. I just
Because you
stopped
were
it
on a very
completely.
high
And
dose, right, at that
yeah,
point. Yeah, yeah,
I was just kind of done, like doctors weren't helping me and I
yeah,
felt really defeated. So I was just like, I just stopped the birth control. I was honestly scared because at this point I was feeling not myself anymore.
yeah.
I was in pain like every day, having really bad anxiety and emotional issues. And then I got the worst headache of my life after getting off the birth control
Mm.
that lasted 3 months long. And it
Wow.
felt like my head was squeezing.
Mhm.
But I mean, every doctor who tried to put me on like migraine medication or they tried to help me, nothing would work.
Yeah.
So basically, they told me, like, it's time you get on anxiety and depression medication because we can't find nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
Um, but I did not get on it. And then I ended up fainting at my son's birthday party in March of 2022.
Mm,
Yes. And then I got sent to the hospital. And they basically told me that I was fine. They couldn't find anything wrong. They don't know why I'm having headaches, I'm having tingling all over my body, why I'm having all these aches. And then I actually, now that I know, they gave me medication to calm my nerves when I was there. Even though like I didn't want to, but the doctor came in and like had a talk with me, and so we decided to do that. And
yeah.
now that I look back, I think I had an MCAS reaction to that medication
Yeah.
because my skin was tingling. I felt so irritable, like I wanted to grind my teeth. Like it did not calm me down.
Yeah.
And basically they were like, this medication would not do that to somebody, so they just sent me home.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and at this point I felt really alone and I kind of started letting, the illness consume me. I was like, wow, like this is crazy. And I also started having heart symptoms.
Mhm.
So I would like be laying in bed trying to go to sleep and then get like this feeling that my heart was squeezing or that I was about to like have a heart attack, this doom feeling would wash over me. So I was not sleeping at all.
Yeah.
If I would fall asleep, I would jump awake in this feeling that like I was dying.
Yeah.
I couldn't even take naps. So, and then at this point, the heart doctors, they would say, "You're young, you're healthy, nothing's wrong."
Yeah.
Um, so But, like, I remember trying to, like, go on a hike with my family, and my head was just spinning, like, I could not make it, and but then, in my head, everyone told me it was just anxiety, so I was like, "I just
Yeah.
need to go calm down because this is just anxiety." And I also, at this point, like, felt like I couldn't breathe every day, like, I was suffocating, so I felt like something was sitting on my chest
Mhm.
and literally felt like I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
Um, So I wanted to get my lungs checked out, but every time I would go to the doctor, nothing was wrong. So
Mhm.
I stopped trying. I just kind of sat at home with these symptoms with two kids. So thankfully,
Yeah.
my mother came and helped me drive me places because I couldn't drive without having panic attacks. I couldn't go into the store without just having a dump of adrenaline. And
Yeah.
some days I couldn't even brush my hair with like my heart rate without it jumping up to like 150, 160, 170.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes those episodes would last for days.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Ashley. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
this is such thank you so much for sharing so honestly about how hard it got for you because I think this is such a great example of how like things can happen slowly but quickly. Like that was something I was talking about on TikTok
Yeah.
the other day where it's like, you know, you were under a lot of stress, you were having these hormonal symptoms, and then you got the vaccine and quit your birth control cold turkey. And it was just like this perfect storm, right? Where it's like things started
Yeah.
feeling weird. You knew things were off. Like you started having the anxiety and you started having the body pain, but like it just kept spiraling and getting worse and worse and worse
Yeah.
until here you are living every day like in complete panic and dread. And I think it's so important to address this because a lot of people like you who have had your experience, they have been dismissed by doctors as things being psychosomatic, right? But psychiatric symptoms are still symptoms that something is wrong and imbalanced in your body, And so I'm so glad that you didn't give up and you kept looking for answers because things, when I first met you,
Yeah.
like things were pretty serious for you. Like you really could not get through your day without really debilitating symptoms. Yeah.
Yeah, it got to one point where like I couldn't even eat and I dreaded waking up in the morning because I knew as soon as I ate my breakfast, I would, get flushed, I would get a rash, I'd feel like I couldn't breathe. It's like this weird feeling where you can feel your heart rate in your head and your
Yeah.
body, my face would turn red, yeah, I kind of see it as, everyone's born kind of like with a pot. some have
Yeah,
bigger pots, some have smaller pots. And
yeah,
when like just our life circumstances, our genetics, you add in like trauma, environmental factors,
yeah.
birth control, birth trauma, the COVID vaccine, and then my pot just kind of boiled over.
Yeah, no, that's such a good way to describe it, and unfortunately, if we don't intervene, that pot can just keep overflowing more and more and
Yeah.
more until suddenly you're like, what has happened to my life? Like, what is going on? And um,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I guess I don't know if there's anything else you want to say about what life was like for you at that point, or we can move to like what we started doing when we started working together.
Yeah, so I think it was a big toll like on my family and my husband. And so at this point, I realized nobody was helping me. So I needed to get off of the couch because at this point I was laying on the couch most of the day. Like I was couch ridden.
Yeah.
It was time for me to try to do something for my kids.
Mm,
And I know I kind of did like fall into the illness a little bit and get that victim mentality. So
sure.
I reached out to a midwife who actually got me in touch with a holistic doctor in my area, which is actually hard to find, like when you live in a small town.
Yeah.
Um, and even with him, I was having to like push, like something is wrong, something is wrong.
Hmm.
Finally, after me sending him emails every day, pictures of my symptoms, I finally got diagnosed with MCAS.
Yeah.
And then at that point, though, he kind of gave me all the medications to get my symptoms at least under control.
Hmm.
Um, and then kind of just like, okay, bye. So, and then that's when I found you on TikTok and was like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm not breaking out in rashes, but I have days where I still feel like an elephant is sitting on my chest and
Yeah.
I still feel sick. Like I'm not feeling good at all still.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, it's very similar what happened to me, in my journey as well, where it's like I finally found someone who validated at least that something was going on. Like I
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
diagnosis, someone was like, "There's a name for what you're dealing with, but here, just try these medications and I hope you get better."
Yeah.
You know?
You're still kind of on your own. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to
Yeah.
look up like the low histamine diet and kind of do all of that on my own, which
Mhm.
helped a little, but it did not was not 100%. It did not fix everything.
Right. Right. So you found things to kind of start band-aiding your symptoms. Like you got some medications that help stabilize things a little bit. You started a low histamine diet that stabilized things a little bit, but it's like you still felt sick, like you still weren't living,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we started working together and I guess do you want to just share a little bit about some of the things we did that you feel like really started helping and really started shifting things and like what kind of changes you started noticing first?
Yeah, I think as soon as I got my first like meal plan
Mhm.
where we ate mostly like I ate mostly healthy fats and meat and vegetables and I cut out starches. I started seeing an increase in energy levels. I think my stomach was upset for like the first 2 weeks, but once I pushed through that, my body got used to that diet and I had so much more energy. My symptoms started to go away. So I was also on cortisol drops before I started working with you for my stress levels. And that's what was causing some of my aches. And I was able to get completely off of those. Yeah. And we all the supplements that I took that you recommended, I think helped a lot for my hormone production.
Mhm.
Um, I honestly just started I don't even it's hard to think back and like when did I start feeling better because it kind of happened so fast.
It did. It happened
Um,
very quickly for
yeah,
you. Yeah, and it was really amazing. I mean, just cutting the starch out and refeeding some of those
yeah,
healthy
and
fats and also, I think that with your experience with the vaccine and with the birth control pills, like you were just so depleted in some key B vitamins and minerals that
yes.
getting you on those supplements made a huge difference, it seemed.
And then I think like you sent me like a kind of some nervous system work
Mhm.
and I really dove deep into that and I think also researching that on my own kind of helped me change my mindset and be thankful every day and live positively.
Yeah.
And I think that helped a lot too.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I know that you took that so seriously, and I think it made a big difference. And, you mentioned, like, I appreciate how honest you were of like, I did kind of fall into my illness. I kind of got stuck in this victim mentality, and it's completely understandable, right? You're having these debilitating
Yes.
symptoms. No one was helping you. Like, you were a victim, like, objectively, of the medical
Yeah.
system, right? And yet you found how being trapped in that mindset and seeing yourself that way and just being absorbed in the experience of your illness, it did not actually help you heal. And when you started focusing
Yeah.
on gratitude and positivity, things really shifted.
Yeah. I think it was easier though to work on my nervous system after I started healing. My symptoms started going away. Then I was able to focus on my mindset more, and it's easier.
Yes. Right. No, and I think you're totally right. Like the two really have to go together. Like we've got to get you start feeling better physically, right? So that
Yes.
you can find these glimmers of positivity in life, but then you've got to really hold on to those glimmers and expand on them to get to the next level of your progress.
Yeah.
So you just really hit it from all angles in a really lovely way. Um
Yeah.
Great. So do you want to share just like how things are for you now? Like, what are your symptoms like now? What is your quality of life like now? Yeah, just share where you're at.
Yeah, so I everything is going really awesome. I am able to go grocery shopping. It's kind of been a huge milestone over the past couple months of me going grocery shopping alone with two kids and
Wow.
not
Talk
worrying
about
about the
stress,
people
right?
around
Yeah.
me. Not I'm not having panic attacks, adrenaline dumps in the store. I'm driving my vehicle, which is huge. I'm making it through the day without any naps. So I even when, like, I'm sick sometimes, I know we talked about when I would get sick, I would kinda have a flare up.
Hmm.
Well, this past time, since upping my B vitamins and, the eye lysine,
Hmm. The
um,
lysine, yeah.
I have not had a flare up, and everyone in my house has a cold, and I'm, like, actually not sick, so
Oh my gosh, awesome. That's so
I
great.
was like, "Okay."
That's a
I was
great
telling my
sign.
husband that he needs to start taking all these vitamins because
Yeah.
I'm not even sick.
Yeah.
Um, Meditating and doing yoga, so I think all that stuff just kinda helps,
Hmm.
and I actually feel like I can breathe every day. I think
Yeah.
that was one of the most debilitating symptoms. I remember just, like, sitting on my back porch, during my daughter's birthday because I could not be in the house with so many people, and I felt like I was just suffocating all day, and the only thing that helped was sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
And just remembering, like, thinking, "Please, somebody help me, like, take this feeling away."
Yeah.
But so I'm so thankful that I found you on TikTok, and we were able to give me the tools to get better.
Yeah, yeah, it's been such a transformation for you. Yeah, I mean, just the fact that you can just go through your day pretty much normally at this point. Like you can run errands, you can take care of your kids, like you don't have the anxiety, you don't have this crushing fatigue, you don't have these neurological symptoms where your heart's racing and you feel like you can't breathe. I mean, that is amazing. It's so amazing even able to come back from that. Yeah.
I
Now
think
you, oh, go ahead.
the symptom that took the longest what is the heart, like, heart symptoms, heart
Yeah.
racing. I usually don't have those anymore.
Hmm.
I was getting them, like, if I ate carbs
Hmm.
or something, but I can kind of, like, catch that if I'm eating too many carbs or something. I haven't That's been the slowest to go away, but I think it's pretty much been gone the past month or 2.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was just gonna actually, that's a beautiful segue because I was just gonna say that you have actually been able to expand your diet fairly quickly considering, how
Yeah.
debilitated you were. And I think it's been a really lovely um just practice of you figuring out basically where your carbohydrate tolerance is, because we have to
Yes.
remember that carbohydrates, they are really depleting to B vitamins. And if you have low stores of those, it can be really easy to re-trigger symptoms of those deficiencies if we overdo it, beyond our body's capacity to metabolize them. And so you have really practice figuring that out, like how much carbohydrate can I have in my diet and maintain remission? And it seems like that has continued to increase where that tolerance is for you,
Yes.
but it's something that you're gonna have to continue to balance for the
Yeah,
foreseeable future.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I'll always want to eat healthy now. I think one of my favorites is when we just did like the healthy fats, meats, and vegetables. That
Yeah.
um makes me feel like sustained through the whole day and gives me
Yeah.
energy, doesn't make me want to snack on carbs and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so
So
that's
I
like
enjoy
a
that.
baseline diet that you'll always be able to fall back on, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, you know how to do that now. Yeah. Great. Well, is there anything else that you want to share for people, like anyone who might still be really struggling or just getting started in their journey? Anything else that you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's hard, and I hope that they know that they are not alone. There's so many people experiencing this. I've been sharing my journey on TikTok since it started,
Hmm.
since I got the COVID vaccination, and every day there are people commenting, the same things happening to me, the same things happening to me. So we are not alone, even though it is so hard
Yeah.
to understand that you're not alone, but
Yeah.
there is hope on the other side. You just
Yeah.
have to believe it.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that so much because these kinds of illnesses can be so
Yeah.
isolating, you know? But being able to say, like, I've been through it too, like, I know how hard it is, but I've gotten through it, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Like,
Yeah.
what a beautiful message.
Yeah, I get emotional because it's so crazy, like, such a dark time, and then it happened so fast, and it's like, I'm awake now, like, I woke up.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, I know I am so grateful for you sharing, and I'm sure so many people on here will be so grateful as well to hear your story and for you to
Yeah.
share so vulnerably. So I so appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that wraps us up. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.